Here in Ohio, everything is quiet and still, unlike our family home in Buffalo, where I can never catch a moment's peace from the whirlwind of family. One afternoon back home, I'm sitting on the heater grate in my undies, absorbed in reading, when my brother and a neighbor friend burst in the room. I am gripped with embarrassment. Even where I'm supposed to be able to relax, to be quiet and hide out from the constant motion of the family, I can't. But in the summers, the whole family piles into our Oldsmobile station wagon, and we begin our annual migration southwest to Mama Keys. I'm sitting in the jump seat in the back, feeling a little sick from facing backward, but happy for a little distance from my two younger brothers. My beat-up cassette player repeats Fantasy by Mariah Carey a billion times as we drive through the Rust Belt, passing cornfield after cornfield until we arrive in Wilberforce. But it's just a sweet, sweet fantasy, baby. When I close my eyes, you come and you take me on and on and on. Yeah. Now, except for the endless buzz of cicadas, the sound of ice clinking against the tall glasses of lemonade, and the crinkle of the plastic on the floral couch in the living room, all is peaceful. Mama Key's house smells of ham, fresh cotton laundry, stale beer, and Dove soap. Dorothy May, as people her own age could call her, was known to be whip smart and cool as a roach on a poach, too smooth to move. She was a kitchen magician, green thumb growing, turn a one-pot meal into enough to feed a family of 9, plus the neighbor friend kind of Mississippi black-bred excellence that could easily, and sometimes did, go unnoticed. Mama Key's garden isn't the best kept. It's not gonna win any blue ribbons. Still, it grows endless successions of collards, tomatoes, green onions, and green beans. I'm not sure how healthy the soil is right next to where Uncle Bernice changes the car oil, but everything grows well enough. Evenings over dinner, my father likes to recount stories from those hot, hungry days in Mississippi. But Mama Key lives in the present. Mississippi is spilled milk. Nothing to go back to. Nothing to discuss. One of my father's paintings is called The Weigh-In, the Unfair Scale. In it, a mauve and navy sky sits heavy over cotton fields. The white landowner has his back to us, an expressionless face turned up to the rigged scale gauge above his head. A bale of cotton dangles from its hook. Dorothy May, too, faces the gauge, towering over her children, small as dolls behind her, as she faces down the barrel of the season's cotton harvest. You must understand, the weigh-in seals the Key family's fate for the entire year ahead, deciding exactly how deeply in debt they will remain as sharecroppers. But Dorothy May is strategic, bold, and unbossed. She had hidden bricks in the center of her bag to correct the rigged gauge, gambling on the very roof over her family's heads, betting on food in the mouths of her children. In that moment, I imagine she willed her uneven breath to settle, willed the sweat to creep back up to her brow, and willed her young ones into peace with only a side eye. I don't know how she managed that feat. She made the world bend to her quietly, without any major accolades or public acclaim. She taught my father and his children how fiercely a Black parent could love. Mama Key's face rests into itself, all her energy contentedly curled inside like a cat sleeping in the sun. Her soft hands are the color of rich toffee. She smiles small smiles that never show her teeth. And she doesn't praise whoever speaks the loudest or the longest. She wraps her head with a simple white cotton cloth that could be cut from an old t-shirt. A thin floral robe wraps around her waist. Dorothy May is slight, yet mighty, delicate and elegant. Her presence is large without being domineering. When she rests her attention on me, I can feel a peaceful place inside, like lying in the arms of my favorite tree or along the side of a creek. She tolerates me hanging around her kitchen as long as I'm quiet and observant, skills that I have cultivated from hours of sitting on that heater grate back home. Sometimes I can catch a peek of her deft hands whipping cornbread batter or forming biscuits. If she catches me staring, she instantly sends me to the back porch steps to be useful out of her hair by popping beans, pinching off the part of the pods that had been connected to the woody stalks. There is ritual whenever I first arrive, and again when I am leaving. She presses the sides of my head together firmly between her knobbly knuckled fingers and kisses my forehead right above the place between my eyes. She presses a prayer into my little curl-covered head, whispering, "Stay sweet," and "Black is beautiful." The lawn behind Dorothy May's house feels so vast. Cicadas vibrate in the locust trees encircling the yard, echoing from one side to the other in call and response. At night, my brothers and I chase lightning bugs with a glass ball jar, cupping our small palms over the top to keep them inside. I lose all sense of time. The cool winds at night relax all my thoughts away, leaving only the grass tickling my ankles as I leap to capture another June bug. Later, I am comforted by their winking bright lights by the nightstand next to my bed. Falling asleep, I recount the day to myself. A $2 order of steaming hot hush puppies at Long John Silver's. The sound of string beans picked from the garden patch and plunked into the plastic bucket. The feel of the sticky biscuit dough between my fingers, and the sweep of Mama Key's soft pink slippers pacing from one side of the small kitchen to the other. I find satisfaction in how much oil is available for frying, the lottery ticket we bought, the plates of food, whether large or small. All the things I can see, feel, taste, and touch become more real when they are seen as the exceptional moments of life that they are. Moving at the pace of Dorothy May, I learn how to notice and be satisfied with each of the day's many small miracles. Today, I still live in a city, but I have a quiet apartment I can retreat to that I share with my cat, Jasper. My home is full of handmade art, dog-eared books, colorful fabrics, musical instruments, and the aroma of good food wafting from the oven. There's a sense of safety and inspiration. Poughkeepsie Farm Project can feel like my family living room, a grand central station of requests, giggles, unexpected heartache, joyful news, and other endless chaotic busyness. I don't take for granted the specialness of being in a workplace where people delight in taking off their shoes on their lunch break to let their toes breathe. In our small office, a former creamery, spontaneous sing-alongs pop off between adjoining offices. You make me feel like a natural woman. Okay, come on, guys. We continue to muse about food even after we've been looking at food and thinking about food for hours. Our appreciation wall is filled with love notes, and the daily busyness can easily make way to welcome visitors to the land. 7 years ago, when I was contracted as a culinary educator a few times a month at PFP, I was unsettled by how few Black people I saw on the land, and when any other place in the city is filled with Black life and love. The struggles of gaining access, then representation, and working toward community ownership are real in our organization. The ancestor farmers of this land are a part of a multiracial past, and the future includes all of us being in these bodies on this sweet earth, like our peoples have been for generations before us. What did I learn from Dorothy May, this woman who gave me everything I needed to know with her presence and not her words? I learned that my capacity for peace starts with being satisfied with what is. That the loudest voice in the room might not be a sign of true strength. That nature is a wellspring from which countless homes emerge in real time. The cool patch of shade under a pine or the voice of a stream might be my home for a while. I learned that medicine exists in our touch when we allow the healing rhythms of our hearts to set our intentions in the life we are co-creating with those we love. Not too long ago, my father gave me this watercolor painting he made of Dorothy May, striding past him in a field of low young cotton. In this picture, she had already hoed her own row and caught up to finish his. She strides past him with a smile just crossing the corner of her lips. His hands are up in the air, baffled at her might.